If I had to make $10,000 profit in the next 30 days with no experience, no nothing, this is exactly what I would do. Yo, what up, guys? Justin Saunders here, coming back at you with a brand new video. And the other day, I actually got asked a really interesting question about how to make $10,000 in the next 30 days, especially if I were to start from scratch. And it got me really thinking about a lot of different answers to this. And I wanted to, from these skill sets and knowledge that I've learned, and also from coaching hundreds of other entrepreneurs on how to do exactly this, I wanted to share with you the easiest and simplest way to go, and anyone could go out there and do this. So let's jump into it. If I had to start over from complete scratch, meaning I couldn't run ads, I didn't have any money, I just literally was new in the marketplace, this is exactly what I would do. So first things first, I would spend majority of my time crafting my offer and making sure I have my ideal avatar in place, meaning that I would go after a very wealthy industry and I would craft one offer solving the biggest pain point in that industry. And I think this is where a lot of people mess up, is especially if in the beginner years of being an entrepreneur, is they try to do everything. And when you try to do everything, you're not a specialist, and specialists get paid the most. So that's why I would go after like one specific industry, in a very wealthy industry, because a lot of times, another mistake I see a lot of people make are they solve good problems, but they're not in wealthy industries, meaning they don't get actually paid what they're worth. So I've worked in 5+ different industries over the years, and I've realized that to get paid the most and get paid what you're worth, you got to solve a big problem in a very wealthy industry. So that would be the first thing I would do, is really spend a lot of time focused on building out this offer, this irresistible offer, because you're going to want to make it and have the pricing and everything in place so that it makes sense. And I'll cover that in here in a second. But first things first is you got to have that industry that you have to go after, and it has to be very specialized, right? Like, I'm not going to go after showing people that are building websites, doing SEO or lead generation or weight loss. Like, I'm going to be going after like one specific type of problem in a industry, right? So like that part's usually what takes the most. But once I found that out, the next thing that I would do is actually build out my pricing. And when I do this, I want to work with less clients that are more sophisticated. The biggest mistake I've made in the past was just wanting to sell lower ticket and work with everybody. And it's cool to get a bunch of notifications and payments coming through, but the more clients you have, the more people you have to manage. And for me, I just want 2 big clients. So if I had to make $10,000, what I would do is I would break this down into selling for 5K payments, right? So at bare minimum, 5K. I'd probably do 6K just because, there might be a little bit, there might be $1,000 or something that I want to have on the side if I need to hire somebody or do some fulfillment or any fulfillment costs, just to make sure my margins are in place. So we'll call it $6,000 just to play it simple, right? And I know if you're new or have never charged that much before, you might be going like, dude, well, I've never done that before. How am I supposed to do it? And again, it kind of goes back to solving a big problem in an industry. And I promise you, if you never sold that high ticket before, anyone can do it. If your offer is good enough and your value is good enough, it's easy to sell. So for example, if you were going to teach somebody how to run ads, right, you could easily sell that for 6K. You just have to properly explain it to them the right way. Be like, look, Mr. Client, most of the time you pay about $3,000 a month to an agency to run ads. So if you did $3,000 times 12 months, well, that's going to be over $36,000 that you're going to be paying someone just to run your ads. Whereas if you teach me for a one-time fee, I'm only going to do it for $6,000. So you're actually saving $30,000. You guys see what I'm saying? There's like, you got to break it down and do the math for them so that it makes sense. Now, after figuring out my pricing point from there, I would go out and do my prospecting. Again, let's assume that I wasn't able to run ads. I had no money in the bank or anything to run ads, or no access to credit. Again, those are all things I would look at. Is even if I didn't have money, I'd figure out how to get credit. But let's just say to run the ads, but let's just say hypothetically that I couldn't get any of that, right? What I would do is I would every single day send out 100 outreaches, right? And like I would do that on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And before all that, I'd make sure all my profile is optimized so that people know that my one offer and my company. I wouldn't have three different offers in my bios or three different companies in there. I had one offer and one company saying exactly what I do, and then educating people, posting reels and videos like this on my feed. But from there, I would send out 100 outreaches every single day total, if I could more, but I'd commit at bare minimum 100 a day on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So if you did the math on that, it's roughly around 3,000 outreaches a month, which, from there, you only need to close 2 of those deals, right? So let's just say hypothetically, 10% of those people booked a call, right? Like that's a pretty solid number. That'd be 30 people that book a call with you. Think you could close 2 deals at 6K? Chances are I think would be pretty high, right? But like, again, that's why we're just playing these numbers out there. And that's why I think anybody can do this. And it's like when you see people struggling in business, it's because they're trying to be too busy on all kinds of other things. I wouldn't even build out the program or anything like this. Like I would sell first because that way I want to know the product, the market fit is there. So, you do the math on that. 2 deals at 6K, that's $12,000. It gives me $2,000 to play around with. Fulfillment costs, maybe like buying my clients a t-shirt or sending them a nice gift or something like that. But that would be how I'd break it down. And that's how I'd get $10,000 profit in the next 30 days. So I hope you found this valuable. I'd be curious down below, what questions did you have specifically for me? I always go through and I'll answer them all and give you my honest feedback. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.